All right, welcome to the Hudson Valley in the great state of New York. Behind me is the mighty Hudson River. So I wanted to talk about today was what the narcissist will never be, what they will never be for you in your life. And, this could be your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever they are in your life. What's got me thinking about this is, so we're out here visiting my wife's family, and we come out here once a year. Every year we've been coming here once we started having kids. And like this time we're staying with them for a month. And we pile in their house and we stay in their bedroom, one of their spare rooms in the house. And we just move in with them. My wife and the two kids, we pile in, and we buy a ton of food, and we cook dinner every night, and we hang out, and we go places. And like my daughter's with her grandpa right now. They're driving around in the truck down the back part of the property, having a great time. And it's hard for me because I want that so bad with my family. And that's what we thought we were going to have. It's what my wife and I, that was the plan. And that's what we had talked about with my folks was, we'll move in, when we already had our first daughter. We're going to have another kid, and we'll have this family compound. We'll all live together. We'll hang out. We'll do stuff. It'll be great. And I really wanted that for myself, my wife, my children, and for my family. It's just my mom and dad and brother. But the thing about it is they won't. That will never happen. That's not who they are. The narcissist. My narcissist mother has poisoned the well, and there's no use in thinking that these people will be anything but who they truly are. And I think that's hard for a lot of people, because it's hard for me too. Because we have this idea that we imagine, what family should be, and what we want from our family. Because our family's all we get. That's all you have. I mean, you can have friends and whatnot, but really, man, it's like your blood and your family. That's it. And you want the ideal life. And coming here, it's not perfect. People get agitated, people lose tempers, people freak out, there's meltdowns. Yeah, I mean, that's just natural. But it isn't destruction and chaos and constant negativity. And I think the biggest thing for us all to understand is the sooner we can just accept that these people are just going to be who they are. And then you can start coming to grips with, I can't control these people. I can't control the decisions they make. I can't influence them because they've already made up their minds and they've decided. And in the narcissistic family dynamic, the power that the narcissist has over other family members of influence is they have ultimate reign and ultimate power. So I don't know if we could ever have that ideal family relationship or family environment, because it's tainted with the spell of the narcissist. But we all know that. So recently a viewer wrote me, and they were describing their situation with their narcissistic, I think it's narcissistic mother. And it was long. It was a big long story, and there was a lot of detail in it. And this was the theme that continually came up for me as I was reading it. And I was trying to just be completely objective and just read it and try to analyze and understand and offer some kind of insight. And that was the general theme, was this person can't let go of who they want their mother to be. They can't let go of that ideal image. And ultimately, if we can't let go of these people and just let them be whoever they want to be, then that's holding us back. And, acceptance is the way moving forward. And you would think, they've got trains that go by here like every 5 minutes doing like 120 miles an hour. It's amazing. Anyway, acceptance is the way forward. And you would think, okay, in order to have acceptance and to have some closure in my life and just move forward, I have to let go of that perfect family or perfect relationship with these people that I imagine. But I don't think you have to. And, my wife and I, we've remained open, and now we have the relationship with her parents. And I'm not saying that everyone, has a wife and has the potential to have in-laws that are great and you can become friends with, but I think you can still accept your family or the close ones who are narcissists that you're dealing with as they are, just the people that they are. And you can still long and desire and look for relationships that can fulfill some part of that. You may never fulfill 100% of it, but you might fill some of that. And like, I recently made a friend in the park. He was wearing the same pants that I wear, and he's a boomer, and he's really cool, and he's kind of like a father figure for me. And I just went up to him and I was just joking around about his pants, like, hey man, where'd you get those pants, man? And then he thought it was funny, but like, we become friends, and he fills a small amount of what I don't get from my dad, because he's just a normal person that isn't crazy, and there's no enabling, there's no narcissism, there's nothing weird. He's just a normal person, a good guy. And he always tells me, he's like, God, he's like, you could be my son. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm the same age as his kid. He has a son. He has a couple kids, but we're the same age, and it's funny to think. But I feel like we can have acceptance and we can move forward. And we can still have what we dream and hope for in these relationships. Because if we just stay stuck on the people who are hurting us and causing chaos and destruction in our lives, all it's going to do is ultimately just hold us back from connecting with other people. Because there's so many good people out there. And who knows? You might meet somebody, like a husband or a wife, or just a friend you make in the park, that fulfills a huge void in your life. And I think that's the most important lesson with acceptance and holding on to, the relationships and the bonds and the ties that we really imagine. And, these narcissists, man, they really want you to live in the past, and they want you to long for what things could be. And you might think there's some hope there, like this person could change, things could work out, like maybe they could go to therapy, maybe they would have a realization. And I still think that, and I sometimes have dreams where like my family is normal and we're having dinner together and we're chilling out, and it's like, whoa, this is amazing. But it can never be. And I don't think it will ever be. I don't know if these people can change and will change or even want to change. So it is possible, though, to move on. And it is possible to hold on to what we imagine, that we can have relationships with these people. We can still have that. Like I said, it might not be 100%. You might get it 100%. I mean, it's not 100% with my wife's family, just because, we're not blood, and like I've only known them as long as I've known my wife. But it fills a huge void within me to have a relationship with these guys and to have the support. Because that too is like my boomer friend Jim that I met with the cool pants. You know, like he's a really nice, kind, supportive person, and he says things that my dad has never told me. He's never said these things to me, and he every time I see him, he always says he's like thank you so much, man. Like you really like brighten my day for me. He says that a lot. He's like, thank you so much for just being yourself. And you know, my dad has never said that to me ever since I've been alive. And to have someone tell you that, it makes you feel good. And I think we can all have that. And so, you know, if we can look at acceptance and moving on as a way to get unstuck from these people and unstuck from what things could be with them, I think it can really help you break free from, you know, the chains that they have around you. So anyway, it's been on my mind because we're out here and it's completely different. It's 180 degrees different from how it is back home. And I wish we could, you know, set up shop out here and live here, but there's just certain things about where we live with raising children and things that the state wants to heavily be involved with that out here it just doesn't work. I mean, back home in Oregon, it's a safer environment in my opinion. So anyway, you know, I hope you can hear this and think about it, and you know, just put a little bit out there because you might be surprised. Anyway, I'm just gonna check out the sunset. All right. You have a good rest of your day.